What's the number one thing that every agent needs to get really good at? If they're out there listening, like, man, I need to get really good at this. To become a six-figure earner, you got to get really solid at X, right? What is X?
Go.
All right, today I got a young, super successful entrepreneur that this dude is on his way, okay? So he's earned $75,000 in the last 6 months. He's 25 years old. He's on pace for 150, maybe 200K this year, maybe 300K, maybe 400K, maybe, who knows, man, you know? Dude, Aiden, welcome in from Boulder, Colorado, all the way to Springfield, Mo.
Thank you for having me.
How's this been today?
It's been great.
Yeah?
Great energy here.
Thank you.
Very solid, very strong team.
It's fun, man.
Just feeding off of it, yeah.
Yeah. What's been the coolest part? Because a lot of people have been here. You've seen the environment. You're in our coaching program, so thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
And you were a part of our meeting this morning, our sales meeting this morning, our operations meetings this morning. We just spent the last 2 hours together, personally working together on crafting how to scale your business. What's been some big takeaways or some things that you've noticed about this place outside of just the energy?
Absolutely. Having seen the polished product on the outside, a lot of the content,
yes,
and how it ends up, it's good to see the steps to get there.
Yeah.
The amount of effort that so many people are putting in to make it happen. And ultimately, you know, Cody's just sharing his recipe for success, how he eventually got here. It didn't happen overnight. Took steady effort, getting 1% better each day, and
that's right.
It's great to see it in person because gives a lot of perspective.
Good, man. Thanks, buddy. And dude, this dude's good on camera too. He's calm. And he may not be calm internally, but dude, externally, you seem calm, collected, solid on video, and you bring up a point like, and I'm so far from where I can get. You know, I think that's the message for people out there. It's like, dude, you're still so far from where you can be as a person. You know, like Aiden Stout at 25. We were talking about Josh Young's earlier and how big he's doing and how crazy he is. Like when you look at you at 25, he's like, I don't even know, like 40. Okay, there you go. 15 years later. Imagine where you have the potential to be 15 years from now. Like, how cool is that to think about?
A lot of it's humbling.
Yeah.
But that's because I now know what's possible.
Right.
You know, a lot of people won't give themselves enough credit.
Yes.
But it's just about putting one foot in front of the other. Keep moving in a direction that you know you want to go.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy about it too. If you think about it, okay, is I do a little branding and add some stuff on Instagram while we're hanging out. If you think about that, it's all on you, right? Like as you guys watching, it's all on you. Like it's completely up to you on how much success you have. And the only thing that could keep Aiden from being a gazillionaire when he's 40, 15 years from now, is guess what? Aiden. That's it. You know. What do you think? What do you think you've learned the most the last 20 months being in the business, and then having a lot more success the last 6 months? What have you started to learn more than anything else?
Systemization, I think.
Yeah.
And that was reinforced. You know what we talked about this morning, but it's step one. Or well, was it ready, fire, aim?
Yeah. Ready. Yeah. No. Fire, ready, aim.
Fire, ready, aim. Yeah.
Fire, ready, aim.
So try something.
Yes.
Learn where you fall short. Learn a bit from it. Go back out there and try.
Yes. What's your IG, by the way? I'm looking you up, and also it'll help everybody else hear it.
Sure. It's a personal page. Still feel free to follow, but it's not super businessy. It's Aiden AIDAN _PLS 3 at the end. Boom.
It's got a baby picture.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You gotta be the kid in you, you know.
That's right. Well, and what would you say if there's an agent out there that's like, okay, what do I need to do to get to where I'm making 150K a year? Because it sounds to you, it probably doesn't seem that big yet, and it's not. But there's 90% plus of people that aren't there yet. So what you're accomplishing at a young age is impressive. Kudos to you, and it's fun to see. How do others, if they want to start to step up that ladder and start to find those different levels we talked about earlier, right? And move up that rung. How do they do it?
It's a great question. Well, it's not just about getting your license. That's just where it starts. So be aware of how much time you can put into it once you get it.
Okay.
Can you put only 5 or 10? It's probably not enough. You want to be able to put in 20 or
Yes.
more a week.
You noticed that early on as an agent too.
Yeah.
Because you were getting into it. You know what I mean?
If I'm thinking about 5 different priorities, then I'm not going to be very successful at this one, which if I want that to be a career.
Boom.
And that's
Yes.
kind of halted my startup. I didn't do 6 figures first year, and that's because I had other priorities. So if you can put the time into it, and not just time to be on the phone and work with people, but 5 to 10 hours of you learning products and
Correct.
human capital.
Correct.
I think that's
what I love about you is you talked about how you've been devoting yourself and diving into our CA sales system. How's that been for your personal growth?
I highly recommend it. There's a lot of coaching programs out there.
Yeah.
I don't always go for them. I knew Cody was legit. I looked into it enough, but
Thanks, bro.
after an hour, there's things in there where I can make my money back
Yep.
by putting simple things in place. So I do recommend it a lot.
How much has this helped you dream? You talked about vision and your coaches growing up and some of the stuff. We talked a lot about your life. How much is today? How much bigger are you thinking today after literally only being here for 3 hours and 17 minutes so far?
Man.
Versus yesterday, you know?
Sure. I mean, this is your company, but I mean, I'd be convinced that you do construction because
Yeah, yeah.
you're breaking down walls for me here. So
Boom.
barriers are going away. You know, things can be accomplished faster than you think.
Yes.
So get started because details delay, right?
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
What's the number one thing that every agent needs to get really good at? If they're out there listening, like, man, I need to get really good at this. To become a 6-figure earner, you got to get really solid at X, right? What is X?
Get the conversation going.
Okay.
Have ways to spark a conversation, whether it's in person or on the phone. Things that are relatable in your local area. What's going on? What are people talking about?
Yeah, you mentioned that. You noticed that when I spoke in Denver at that event with Jay Youngs, and you talked about that, like the engagement piece and the trial closes and the hand raising and the speaking and like getting people involved and how you could relate that to your sales process. Share that because that was really powerful when you shared that. It was really cool.
So Cody asked me what he thought about my speech, which, is humble of him. But I said he did a good job of connecting with us. He's checking in with the crowd, gauging where our interest is, so he knows. He knows it's a two-way thing. And so when he's asking questions, yes or yes, true, true, that inspires me to check in with throughout my meetings more. You're not beating them up. You need to be gauging where they're at so that they tell you how to sell them.
Yes. What was the because you also aspire to be a public speaker, motivational speaker, which is really cool, by the way. I love that. Like I knew it is daunting, but I knew that with 10 years old watching my grandfather speak. I'm like, man, I will do that one day, and now I have to do a lot of it. Now I'm even worried about like losing my voice here in a few weeks. I shouldn't even speak that into existence, but like I'm gonna be on stage over 30 times. So
wow,
that's a lot, right? And with energy, can't be boring. Spend $500,000 on an event, you got to deliver.
Yep.
What was one thing that you, outside of those things, like as a speaker, what are some of the things that you're learning from other speakers or that you're noticing that you need to, obviously just speaking will help, but what's a few things that you're like, man, I need to get better at this or this or this to start to feel comfortable doing it? Because you said it's daunting.
It is. And that's because at first you think it's about you.
That's good.
But it's not.
That's good. Yeah.
And that's why you're checking with the crowd, because it
ain't about me.
Where are you at? How can we get closer?
Yes.
And so that's those tools of how it's a sales presentation. You're inching someone closer to you. This is the same thing with public speaking. How do you do that with a group of people?
Correct.
And as someone who was an introvert growing up, that's going to be my challenge for sure.
Yeah. Especially if you keep calling yourself an introvert. Yeah.
You're right. Shouldn't say it.
I still do that kind of stuff though. I mean, honestly, like I still get nervous for 8% Nation. 1,000 people, packed room. I got some crazy freaking surprises and stuff we want to do. Like it's tough. So when you think about like, okay, so for example, you brought up something that made me think of a story a second ago. Texas training. I did a tour of 15 or 16 different cities back in the late spring, early summer of 2019. It's been 2 years, a little more than 2 years. And I traveled around. And I'd been to several events. I'm like halfway through the tour, and I look at the team and I'm like, man, dude, what is wrong with the crowd? The energy sucks. I'm getting no engagement.
Yeah.
No feedback.
Yeah.
What is my problem? What is wrong with them?
Yeah.
I started pointing more fingers at them, right? So instead of accepting responsibility, I started being like, dude, what is Aiden's problem? You know, if Aiden's in the crowd, what's his issue? Well, I finally, after saying that out loud, I finally looked at myself and said, dude, do you not realize you're in control of how people respond? You're in control of how people act. You're in control of how engaged they are. If they stand up, if they sit down, if they speak, if they look at you, if they sit up when you're talking, right? Like, you're in control of all of that. And the moment I did that, I started accepting responsibility. It changed me as a speaker forever. And those next 9 events, whatever it was, were so much better and different than the first half of that tour that I did.
Yeah.
And it was because I realized I was holding the tour back. I wasn't bringing the energy. I wasn't creating the engagement. I wasn't where I needed to be as a speaker, even though I thought I was a great speaker. But I wasn't. That was one of those big aha moments for me. Have you had any of those the last couple of years, or lately, or today, or whatever? You're like, man, that was a turning point in my life. Because you talk about, I'm letting you think for a second to choose your spot. But as a speaker, that was a big shift for me. I've had a couple big shifts as a speaker that I've picked up stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was good. And so as someone aspiring to be a speaker, that was big for me.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And because it's not becoming a better speaker, I'll put it in different terms.
Yeah.
I just realized my effectiveness got better when I kind of cleaned up my habits a little bit. I could make more calls. I could talk to more people. I could explain things better to them. I was better prepared to help them.
Yep.
And that opened up the possibilities that are present in this industry.
Boom, man.
Yeah.
That's huge. What do you think, like, how can you relate that to others that are listening right now?
I think you want to call it aggressive patience.
Yeah.
So knowing what you want, you can't force it though. So what can you do? What can you force or push the envelope on that'll get you closer?
That's
and
good.
That's building skills, and that's when you become special, because you can't be, if you have a special skill set,
Yes.
you can't be replaced.
Yeah. GC always says skills buys you freedom, man. And
Yeah.
everybody wants freedom, really,
Yeah.
in a way.
Freedom ain't free.
Yes.
By the way.
Yes, that's good.
So
true.
you gotta bring the skills.
Yeah. What would you like to share in closing? What would you like to share of anything you could share with anybody listening right now in any way? Maybe from your recent experiences or whatever. What's something you would like to share in closing?
Get your money compounding.
Good.
Get your money growing.
Good.
Start building a business today. I feel like
Boom.
that's the most.
Is that what you're
objective
noticing
advice.
today?
Yeah, and recently read a book called Skin of the Game.
Good.
Very complex concepts there, but the whole idea is you don't know anything really unless you have skin in the game. And how do you have the skin in the game as a young person going into the world? Not through a job, through owning a business. That's the best way to learn.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's solid. That's solid advice.
Came back around, almost lost it.
That's right. They could look you up on IG. If they wanted to shoot you an email,
Sure.
text you, whatever, like what are you comfortable giving out?
Jump on LinkedIn, Aiden Stout on LinkedIn.
There you go. That's easy.
Lifetime Income Solutions. And email admin@lifetimeincomesolutions.biz is how we can collaborate and grow together.
Boom. Let's go.
Yeah, thanks for the plug.
Dude, thanks, bro. Okay. Appreciate you. Appreciate you guys. Go make 150K like this young, stout dude is. Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're going to love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there. Boom. Hey, one of the biggest things I get asked, man, is, dude, how do I go from 0 to 6 figures? And I'm going to talk through some of the stuff in the book right now of how you can do this, because you can. I'm telling you, if I did it, you can too.